Good morning, everyone. My name is Steve Onishi. I'll be your chairperson for today. I'm giving Dennis Akizuki a break. I think he's probably tired of this. Anyway, I just want to welcome everyone. It's great to see everyone here. It's a beautiful day, and it's after a bon. Yeah, I think I finally recovered after a bon, and hopefully all of you were able to come join us here. It was a fantastic event, but it takes a lot out of you. Are there any new visitors? Anyone who would like to introduce themselves? If not, well, welcome everyone. We appreciate you all showing up here this morning. We'll begin this morning's service with Sambujo on page 24 in the large service book, followed by the sutra chanting Sanbutsuge on page 79 in the large service book, or page 22 in the small Dharma school service book. Please rise for singing of Gatha Namu Amida Butsu on page 67 in the small Dharma School Service Book, or page 174 in the large Dharma School Service Book. Please remain standing for the three treasures, page 3 in the small Dharma School Service Book.
Okay, are you ready? So, no music today, so it will be a cappella, okay? All right, 3, 2, 1. When life is fair and sunlight gives the day, when fortune smiles and flowers are adorn away, oft let us pause with grateful heart to say, Namu Amida Butsu. In our way leads neath the darkened sky, and to our love was pain and death draw nigh. Our tears may flow, yet trusting grief we cry, Namu Amida Butsu. Thank you. Okay, please remain standing for reading three treasures, each page on 3 on the small Gatha book. Okay. How is it to be born into human life? Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the first one. Now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be free from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of Yoei enlightenment and awaken ourselves the spring well. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of doctrine and gaze wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become unity in the true accord, your life or harmony, in a spiritual universal manifest from the bondage of selfishness. Even through ages of myriads of kalpas, how hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine? Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of the Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Okay, thank you. Please be seated.
And now we'll have a Dharma talk by Minister Assistant Dennis Akizuki.
Good morning, everyone. Good to see you here. Please join me in Gassho and reciting the Sanbutsuge. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. So sometimes, when we read the three treasures, I think about things. What do certain things mean? So does anybody else wonder sometimes what ages of myriads of kalpas mean? Does anybody know, except for Mikame Sensei, does anybody know what ages of myriads of kalpas mean? It's a long time, but what's a kalpa? How long is a kalpa? Okay. It's at the end of the three treasures, right? And it starts, even through ages of myriads of kalpas, hardest to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now, like we said, refers to some passage of time. And it sounds like it's a long, long time, right? Kalpa is actually a term that comes from Hindu and Buddhist teachings. And it does refer to a long, long, long period of time. In Shakyamuni Buddhist time, there was really no precise number of years for the Kalpa. And in fact, according to tales, the Buddha was asked, how long is a Kalpa? And he told stories about how long a Kalpa is. And one of them is that if you had a cube 16 miles long on each side, and you placed a tiny mustard seed in it every 100 years, the cube would be filled before the Kalpa ends. Think about that. That's kind of mind-boggling, right? So then monks would ask the Buddha, well, how many kalpas have passed until this point in time? And then he supposedly said, if you count the grains of sand at the bottom of the Ganges River, from where it starts to where it meets the sea, that number is less than the number of kalpas that have elapsed. Again, mind-boggling, right? So, but in my online search, I did find a precise definition of a kalpa. According to a 2016 article in the Buddhist publication, Lion's Roar. Have you heard of Lion's Roar? It's one of the Buddhist publications, and if you look for it online, you'll see there are a lot of articles. You may have to subscribe to read more than a few of them. But according to this article, a regular kalpa is 16 million years. I don't know how they determine this. And there's something called a great kalpa. And a great kalpa is 1.3 trillion years. So, dinosaurs lived in the Jurassic Age, right? Jurassic Park. The Jurassic Age began about 20 million years ago. So if my math is correct, that's 12.5 kalpas. So I came up, I did also did a Google search to find the exact phrase. How long is ages of myriads of kalpas? Nothing. Just came up with the three treasures in the passage, right? So we can say that ages of myriads of kalpas is an unimaginably long period of time. So you're probably thinking about, why am I bringing this up? Or that you have other questions about kalpas, you still don't understand what kalpa is? So let's put those questions off to the side, if that's possible. Let's not get too hung up on kalpas, even though I just brought it up and you're thinking about that now. They're not really important in the grand scheme of things in reading of the three treasures. And to explain that and put that in perspective, I'm going to refer to something else about another topic that it was a Dharma talk by Reverend Yuki Sugihara when he was at the Oregon Buddhist Temple. Now he's Rinban in Sacramento now. I think his talk can kind of help us put kalpas into perspective and how it's used in the three treasures. Now in this talk, Sugihara Sensei was addressing whether Dharmakara, now you've heard Dharmakara mentioned, right? Dharmakara was a principal character in the larger sutra. Whether Dharmakara is a myth. The larger sutra is one of the three principal sutras in Shin Buddhism. Dharmakara was a bodhisattva, an enlightened being who would later become Amida Buddha. Sugihara Sensei says, the important part of the Dharmakara story is not whether Dharmakara is a myth, it's what the story teaches us. So he uses the example of a finger pointing at the moon, right? If you fixate on the finger, you don't see the moon. You don't follow the finger where the finger is pointing. You might say, oh, gee, the fingernail is long or the finger is crooked, and you start to think about the finger rather what the finger is pointing to. So Sugihara Sensei says the story of Bodhisattva Dharmakara, quote, is not a historical event that happened in the past. It is the truth taking story form that is letting us know that we are burdened by the heavy karma of attaching to self-centeredness and how it is the natural working, jinen, of the truth itself, Amida Buddha, that brings us the attainment of birth into the realm of enlightenment. The important thing is to not think and discuss whether Bodhisattva Dharmakara's story is a myth or not, because it is the truth taking story form and guiding us to the truth, to peace and tranquility. This is the most important part. Now he goes on to say, it's natural to kind of doubt what's written in the sutras. You kind of think about that, but he advises us not to attach to the words. He says, quote, "We should be looking at the direction the finger is pointing. The teaching of the larger sutra guides us to realize the risk of relying on self-centered thoughts, and thus we need to rely on the working of Amida Buddha, which makes us reflect on our daily actions." I think it's the same kind of thing with, ages of myriads of kalpas, right? We think, what does that mean? And sometimes when we read the Three Treasures, I kind of stop. What does this mean? I have no idea what it means, right? So that kind of distracts us from what the important thing is, right? Where it's pointing us to, it's pointing us to, even through ages of myriads of kalpas, hard is it to hear such excellent, profound, and wonderful teaching, right? So that's trying to tell us how important and how valuable the Three Treasures are, right? And the Three Treasures are the basis of all Buddhism, right? I think all Buddhists talk about the Three Treasures. The Three Treasures, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. And they're also called the three jewels of Buddhism. It's the foundation of Buddhism around the world. And so we should kind of focus on what we're saying. We're taking refuge, right? And that's nothing to be taken lightly, right? We're kind of if you're a first time and you're doing it for the first time, you're basically becoming a Buddhist in some sense, right? And when we say it every week, we're kind of reconfirming that we're Buddhist, our commitment to following the teachings, right? So the three treasures are independent, right? You can't have one without the other. So we need to take that into mind too, right? There's without Dharma and Sangha, there's no Buddha, and you could go through any combination of the two. Without one, you can't have the other two, or without the other two, you can't have the last one. So we should kind of remember that as we come across, as we do so often, terms that we don't know are foreign to us, right? And I guess when you listen to those kind of stories, focus on what the meaning of the story is. And then after the story, ask for, what does this mean? What is this term? What does this phrase mean? And I think we need to become educated in what the terms mean, but don't get too hung up on them when you hear a story about, is this real? Is this a myth, or is this real? A lot of the Buddhist stories, I think, are not, or as Sugihara Sensei says, they're stories, they're stories showing us the truth of what life is about. So don't get hung up on, is this person real or not who's telling the story, or is a central figure in the story? That's not the point. Because we're looking at Shakyamuni's time, right, when all of the sutras were written. He was trying to put his teachings into story form that people could understand and relate to. So, unfortunately, the circumstances and the examples used maybe 2,600 years ago don't really kind of we have a hard time understanding it in our day and age, right? So you have to remember that when a story that sounds far-fetched, unbelievable, those elements of the story are really the finger pointing to what the truth of the story is. The essence of the story is the point. It's the truth-taking story form, as Sugihara Sensei says. Is that clear? Anybody have any questions about that? Have I just muddled things more? So again, I think, the teachings are there. Let's not get distracted too much sometimes by a term that we don't understand. Just look for the deeper meaning and ask questions afterwards. And then I think we can have a better understanding of the teachings and then help us apply them to our lives in a better way. So that's it. Hopefully I conveyed that in the right word. I didn't make a doctrinal error in my understanding of my interpretation of this. So please join me in Gassho in reciting the Sanbutsuge. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu.
Thank you, Dennis. As an engineer, right, I'm always thinking, it's got to be, it's hard for me sometimes to think abstractly. Everything's concrete to guys like me. But I'll work on that one. Thank you. Everyone, please rise for the Gatha Ondokusan II on page 76 in the small Dharma School service book.
Okay. Again, it's a cappella, right? 如来大悲の音読は身を粉にしてもおつべし知識の音読も骨を砕きても射すべし。ナモ阿弥陀仏。ナモ阿弥陀仏。ナモ阿弥陀仏。ナマンダ仏。ナマンダ仏。ナマンダ仏。ナマンダ仏。Thank you. Please be seated.
At this point, are there any announcements? Does anyone have any announcements they'd like to share? No? Then I'll give you one. Just a reminder that, maybe some of you have not heard about this, but we're having a fundraiser here in a couple weeks, Sunday, August 20th. We're having a presentation of this, I don't know if you call it a musical, or, but it's called Sentimental Journey. So there's a group who will be performing, and I guess my understanding is it's a lot of songs are related to camp times or before times, so just a lot of memories for a lot of the, some of the Nisei maybe not for me, but I'm looking forward to it. It'll be a live presentation in the gym here. Sunday, August 20th, there's actually a pre-show bento if you are interested at 12:30, and the performance begins at 2 o'clock. And if look for information, well actually, do we have, I'm not sure if we have some, but always look for information on the church website. Okay, there's some flyers in the back, great, that's perfect. At this time, I think we've concluded. Thank you to Minister Assistants Dennis Akizuki, Sumi Tanabe, and Reverend Mikame for your participation in today's service. Please come forward to Oshoko. Thank you.
And also, please join us for refreshments in the multipurpose room. Oh, it's right outside, not in the multipurpose room, in the garden.